Hello, welcome back to the BCS podcast, week 5 recap, week 6 preview. We missed a week. Things happened. Look, our teams were both on the bye week, circumnavigating this week. So why didn't we go on the bye week? That's the flawed sort of logic that worked out. But how was the last week and a half, gentlemen?
It's been okay.
Some good football, some bad football, some football. I don't know.
Yeah, indeed. So what we think we're going to do is we'll just have Zach talk about his game from 2 weeks ago. I'll talk about mine. Maybe quickly touch on one or two things we wanted to from that week, and then we'll go into week 5 like it's normal. So reviewing week 5 like it's normal. So Zach, you have the floor here.
Oh, so okay, week 4. All right. Late night game, unbelievably late night game, 3 a.m. finish, which was unreal. I was half asleep when the game started. I was trying to keep my eyes open in the second half. Liked what I saw from the offense. A lot of good things. A lot of big plays that were made. Kind of developing pretty decent pass game. Run game isn't fully there as of yet. I mean, look, we just couldn't stop anybody on defense, and that's the simple fact. There was no defense played. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass. Maeva is showing why, which this week was a little bit different. I mean, he played decent, but he didn't play great. But he's showing that he is taking steps forward. I really like their offense. I think they have great players all over the field. Them adding Mekhi Lemon back this week, not against us, but this week, really showed that they could be dangerous in situations. But they have to get consistent. But other than that, couple plays that really we needed to make a stop and we didn't. Kind of let the game get away, brought it back, kind of made it interesting, and then let it go away again. So lots of points, but Feds has to figure it out or it's going to be a long journey through the conference.
Yeah,
and that's all I got on that game.
Yeah, I know. I ended up staying late too. My main takeaway was Sparty's got 2 or 3 legit receivers. It's more than just Marsh. I know Marsh had a pretty bad game that game. The other kids are pretty good as well. And USC just loves giving away dumb turnovers, which they did again this week. And Sneaky, one of the best commentator duos out there, Benetti and RG3, those guys rule. Yeah. I mean, I was with Zach. I was happy. That. Nice. Yeah. I turned the game on. I was like, oh, okay. Sneaking these two in at 1 a.m. Eastern time, like whatever. But, yeah. My game 2 weeks ago, which was my lock of the week, was Michigan. They played very well. Obviously, ran the ball like nobody's business on the ground. Some of the worst coaching you might have ever seen in the first half. In the moment, I wanted to die when we gave up a free Hail Mary to them. I think the bad coaching was the way that you defended it, having guys like TJ Guy and Derek Moore in the end zone and standing behind the receivers, letting them box you out. It was categorically a failure. And if you're putting guys like them out there, why don't you put Bryce out there? I mean, Bryce probably one of the best jump ball guys on the team, I would imagine. But the funny moment for me was when even Dana Holgerson didn't know what the hell was going on, and they decided to call a timeout right before the half. Like Nebraska's team was like half in the tunnel, and had to come back and doing that. But Justice Haynes continues to be one of the best backs in the Big Ten. I did have a tweet go pretty viral for me where I could not do simple addition in terms of yards per carry average. But even with one less game, my good friend Justice Haynes has a better better combo than the 2 Penn State backs in total. But we'll do some Penn State hate stuff in a week here, or in a little bit here. But yeah, just really good win for Michigan. See how nice it is to have a quarterback that can open up the run. That's directed to my lovely head coach. But that's a main reason why that way Michigan won. It was good. It was good that it was a win where there was a lot of flaws and mistakes, but it was still a good road win. Like if you told me that we would have played a C game and went on the road and won a Big Ten away game, Like, I think it's pretty good. I think low key, you might have felt the same way this week about your game, Cozy, but we'll get to that in a minute. But where it's like, you didn't play the most, the best game you needed, and you kind of handled business pretty comfortably. I know Michigan only won by 3, but I thought it was a pretty comfortable win. So
I was just going to say it kind of felt like it was always like a 10-point game, and I felt like Nebraska was holding on, especially with a Hail Mary at the end of the half. Kind of felt like Nebraska was holding on. Like as a Michigan fan, you probably had to think like, oh shit, they just played a terrible first half and then they tie it up. There had to be a little concern there, but then when the second half started, and
it was an emotional roller coaster because it was 10-10. It was like, really? We should be killing this team. Is 10-10, whatever.
Yep.
Then you blow off 75-yard touchdown run. You're like, oh, good. There we go. We're good. And then it's like, oh, no, just kidding. Screw you again. And then they just kept coming back. The turning point was Cole Sullivan, who is going to be a hell of a player coming up. Kid from a Catholic school in Pittsburgh High School. 5-star or 4-star linebacker, dude. Just he's got a full buzz cut, zero like extra swag or bling. I would it'd be even funny if he wore no gloves. He's just going out there. He had 2 great plays, and then Brandon Hillman decides to hump the air basically right in front of the Nebraska bench and give up a first down on a 4th and 17.
Can I just ask what his whole catch thing was? Celebration?
Yeah, he and Jair Hill have been doing it the entire time. I've been educated. It's apparently a new Detroit dance. It's a dance that like Detroit guys do, I guess. So I thought it was just they were making fun of the one Nebraska guy that said he caught it earlier in the game, but I guess it's some sort of dance because him and Jair kept doing it. So God bless. But I don't know. But it's objectively hilarious now that we won.
Yeah,
like watching the replays, I think it was Wheels does the highlights usually, and like you cut to him, and it's just personal foul, which like kind of, and it's just him going.
Yeah,
it's an all-time GIF though, but
yeah.
I mean, you played. I don't think Michigan played the best, but you're into a bye, and I don't know about you guys. I mean, I know you probably watched the game. It was fun to watch Michigan on offense for the first time in a long time. The last 2 weeks. So I think this week's going to be very interesting now that we have a head coach back to see what exactly goes on. Because if we goes back to that Oklahoma nonsense, I'm going to have the podcast I'm probably going to have to delete.
We'll touch on that, my thoughts on that game. But
yeah, but it was nice to win a lock of the week. I don't know if you guys remember your locks of the weeks from 2 weeks ago.
My lock of the week was
we won't mention yours. You're fine. Don't worry. You're good.
Okay. Oh no, we can. Mine was maybe like the ultimate unlock of the week. It went by the wayside on a block punt, and it went from a lock to a block.
Yeah, I mean 7-7, and then it finishes 63-10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
that was
what it was.
Impressive. But we don't need to touch on that. I don't remember what Zach's was.
He reminds me of like early Harbaugh, where like when he's got a team that can screw you, he screws you.
Mine
What was yours?
Under in Michigan, Nebraska.
Oh yeah, you barely lost it. I think 57.
Yeah, I lost like 8 or 10 points.
Oh, it was 44. I thought it was 54.
I think it was like 45.5 or something. It was some weird number. It looked good at some points, but then Michigan blew up like 4 big plays, and I was like, all right, it's done.
Yeah, it's weird. I was talking to our good friend of the program, Jake and Gary, about this. When's the last time Michigan's just been a big hitting offense? Like multiple explosive touchdowns in pretty much every game. It's crazy. I know it's been pretty bad comp, but it's just very weird to have an offense at the pulse and not be falling asleep on offense and hoping we punt on first down like I've been the last couple of years. So a lot of teams like that have fixed it. But if we want, we can swing into what my lock of the week would have been for this upcoming week, which I know we can't count it against the record. But I absolutely loved Illinois this week when they played USC and hosted them. I got very worried that on every single show, the Barstool College Football Show, every one of them picked Illinois outright plus 200. I had Illinois outright plus 200. The entire fan base of everyone I talked to outside of those liberal pussies in the West Coast all had that. That was a funny. That's why I love the Barstool pregame show. I highly recommend watching it because they always get one of the big noon guys on, and seeing Matt Leinart telling Dave to F off after Dave was like, "You're West Coast pussy football," and just seeing these guys swear is hilarious. Like Urban was giving it back to him a few weeks ago, swearing at him. It's very funny to see these TV guys. You can see how much they love being able to say whatever they want. But
so the one thing, if we're gonna swing into it for the big noon kickoff game, look, this game should have been a blowout, actually. Like, if we're being realistic, Illinois, well, first off, I just want to go to the Big Ten replay officials, and I want to ask them, in what world was the fumble down by the goal line an actual fumble by Illinois before halftime?
That was one of the most confusing things I've ever seen in my entire life. I've been never so certain of a thing. I didn't even know what they were reviewing. I thought they were like reviewing for targeting, maybe, because I was like, what are they reviewing?
And they reviewed literally because he fumbled the ball, or because USC literally picked up the ball and like ran the other way with it. But then you see like clearly like, okay, his knee's down. This is an easy thing. And they're just going over and over it and over it and over it. And it's like, even the guys like, even the announcers who are like sometimes like undecided, they're just like, oh, yeah, it's definitely down. Like, it'll be Illinois ball again. Don't worry. Nope. Play confirmed. Like, play confirmed. Like, I don't know what they were looking at.
Yeah, it was completely baffling. I just don't get it. How many dumb turnovers were in that game?
Well, and then Illinois had it down by the goal line again, and they fumbled it into the end zone. So you had that. So you had two big swings, like basically 14-point swings that went USC's way.
Yeah. The only other thing I would add to that is the first drive. USC, I believe they get a 3-and-out. And then USC forces 3-and-out on defense. And then they just march down the field, like wide open. And then all of a sudden you've got Waymon Jordan, this random kid from a JUCO who's been a hell of a running back this year, just fumbles on air.
Yep.
Straight to Illinois. And it's like, wait, what? What just happened? It almost reminded me of like the Monday Night Football game last night where the Jets just decided to run the entire way down. I don't even know how many times they even passed. They were just running. And then they fumble just straight to the team. It's like, oh, okay. And then Illinois is like, oh, sweet, we got a lifeline. And then just didn't give it back the rest of the game. Well, I know they might end up going down at the end. But, yeah, Mayava and Lemon are awesome. I know Zach kind of mentioned that earlier. But, I mean, good for Fat Bielema. The funny thing was that I know I keep referencing it, but Portnoy, obviously, he does his pizza reviews. He said that he offered to do a review with Bielema before the game, the week of the game. And Bielema goes, no, I can't. After last week, I got to stay in the weight room. And Dave's like, if a guy like him turns down free food, you know he's locked in. I'm like, damn. But, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think the last time where the entire country pointed out a 7-point dog to win outright, and then it just happened. I mean, I can't really even think about something like that. But, I mean, the next other Big Ten game we can talk about quickly is Indiana-Iowa. I don't know if you saw much of this. It was kind of lost between a lot of really good games, in my opinion. This game kind of stunk.
Yeah. You know, this game kind of stunk, but the end of the game, everyone's questioning these quarterbacks about gambling and betting and what their lines are.
That is crazy.
What was he doing?
I get it, kind of, but like you just can't do that and then openly be like, I'm sorry about the people that bet the spread. That's crazy.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I don't get it at all because all you're asking for is you running with the ball backwards with your back turned to the defense, and if one guy came up from behind and might have poked it loose, Iowa could recover for a touchdown. Like, he should have basically just stood there for 3 seconds and went down on a knee, and it would have been game over.
Or do what Dante Moore did at the end of the half. Just take a 2-3 step drop, stand there, and then throw as far as you can.
Exactly, yeah. You had multiple options. Instead, you run 30 yards backwards into the end zone, and it's like, wait, what just happened? Other than that, this game was on at 3:30, right?
Yeah, this is like my third game I was watching at this time.
Yeah, so this was during Ohio State Washington, so I didn't see a play of this game.
Yeah, Ohio State Washington ended into the intense endings of Auburn and A&M and LSU, Ole Miss, And then I was also watching Tennessee, who was in an absolute dogfight with Mississippi State, and they're a crazy comeback. And then I just look on the screen, I'm like, oh, Iowa's got the ball back after a missed field goal. Oh wow, Kinnick voodoo. And then I look up, I'm like, wait, how'd they get the ball? How's Mendoza? Wait, what's going on? So,
yeah. Other than that, it kind of seemed like a pretty bad snooze fest, considering Mendoza threw for 233 yards. But you got to look at this. Indiana went into Iowa in Kinnick and big win. I mean, everyone's going to look at that and say, oh, it's not a big win. It's not a big win. It's not a big win. Iowa's record is still 3-2. They were 1-0 in the Big Ten. That's a pretty big win for Indiana.
I personally don't think it's a big win. I think people still overhype Iowa, in my opinion, because it's not even close to Iowa what it has been. That being said, playing at Kinnick after beating basically a rival. I know they're probably not, but I consider those two teams rivals just purely. They're the exact same team looking at each other in the same mirror, and you blew them out. It was the biggest win Indiana's had, probably since they beat Michigan to get 10 wins. I mean, it was your Super Bowl, and you go out there and you don't. That's the easiest letdown spot of the world. I personally was on Iowa plus 7.5, or 5.5, but it was like, okay, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna win, but whatever. But not falling into the trap there was very, very impressive in my opinion.
Yep, I agree with that. You got out a win when things. It just seems like up from the stats and things like that. Looking at drives. Things weren't all going Indiana's way.
No, it wasn't the normal nonsense they've been doing this whole year.
Yeah. So, other than that, I don't really have any comments on that game.
Sig's going to be so good next year for Florida. Oh, I cannot wait.
Jeez, oh, man. I will say this. Thank you, Northwestern. Let's keep UCLA winless.
It got close. Nico
I know.
Stuff at the end. And I was like, here we go, Nico. This is it. Now we push. He did not.
No, I mean, there were some times where I thought that, okay, you're right back in this thing. I think when it kind of got to be, what was it? It was when it was the beginning of the game, or when it was the beginning of the game or whatnot. I thought, okay, Northwestern just had a pretty decent drive. I saw. And then they kicked a field goal, and it's like, okay, I mean, UCLA is still in it. Maybe they can do something. And then, I mean, this game was on Big Ten Network, right?
Yeah, this was like the one corner quad box you'd get on YouTube TV. Be like, get this out of here for a real game.
So I actually kept flipping to this because someone had their phone out, and we were flipping between games just on a side phone during the Ohio State game. And I kept flipping to this game, and I would see random stuff. And I happened to catch when UCLA went for it on a 4th down play. I don't know if you watched it.
Nope.
But it was probably one of the worst 4th down plays I've ever seen.
Of course it was.
I mean, they ended up giving up a sack. And not only that, had they gotten the 1st down, they were called for an illegal formation. Yeah. And nobody blocked, and Nico basically just was running around trying to get the 1st down. He took a sack, and then there was a flag, and I don't know if he thought that it was offsides on them because the flag was thrown right away, but it was definitely an illegal formation, and they weren't going to get it anyway. So
nothing better than a mistaken free play flag.
Yes, exactly. And the bad thing is they were actually in Northwestern territory at 34. So they were driving, and then boom, they just had that terrible, awful 4th down play. UCLA might not win a game. They did, but they might not win a game.
They're not winning. I don't think they're winning a game.
They may not win a game.
I most definitely thought they were going to beat Northwestern, and that turned out to be absolute must.
It's a good program to watch though, because this is now your 4th game to see if anyone opts out. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The only game that I could see them possibly winning is if it's No, that's not happening this week. Don't get all excited over there. It's not happening this week. Don't worry.
No, not this week.
No, stop. It's not happening. They're not winning that game. It's going to be when Maryland, who outside of the month of September travels to UCLA.
Yeah,
that's Malik Heisman. Malik Heisman's out there. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Other than that, I did not watch a single second of Rutgers, Minnesota, but it looked like a pretty entertaining game.
I think Zach might have.
Okay.
I watched the first half. They were 14-0. Rutgers, they fell apart. They let Minnesota back in the game.
Right. No,
and it was back and forth. And then the Greek threw an interception or something when they scored.
Forgot about this.
It was a tied game. All they needed to do was drive the ball down. He throws a pick. And they kick a field goal. Minnesota does. And then Rutgers tries to kick a field goal from like 55 yards, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah. Again, potential friend of the program, DT Sheffield, could have been on Michigan, and a guy I was trying my best to do so. Another 74 yards and a touchdown performance. This kid's unreal. God bless him. Every week he scores. It's crazy. He's the new Caleb Johnson for the podcast.
Well, do you want me to go to my game?
I think we should do your game, and then we can have the funeral of James Franklin last.
No, it's never going to be the funeral of James Franklin. Lifetime contract.
Lifetime contract. Those same people are now like, they should fire him. And I'm like, you people are sick.
Nope.
Whatever.
Want the lifetime contract.
Agree.
Okay. Lot to unpack. Not a lot of a not to unpack, I guess you could say. Look, you got into a dogfight that probably should not have been a dogfight early on, considering Washington. Oh, by the way, Washington does not have a punter. So if you trap them deep in their territory, you are getting the ball at midfield at worst. I mean, kind of disappointing on the first drive. We went out there first drive, got all the way down to, I want to say like the 5 or 6 yard line. Got stuffed on a 4th and 1. Not just 4th and 1, 4th and inches, which you have a all Big Ten center that you should just be going straight forward with your quarterback. And for some reason we decided, you know what, let's hand it off in the backfield. And they're just going to have everybody dive into this one singular running hole that everybody's going into. Washington does have some talent. I don't know that necessarily their defensive line is that good, but their linebackers are pretty good.
It's just their D-line sucks. Everything else is pretty good.
Their D-line is, yes, their defensive backs are fine. Their D-line is terrible. Yeah. You had that, and then you force them to go right after they get the ball back. You basically, I think they ran like maybe got 1 first down or something, and then you force them to punt. And then you punt, and Brandon Ennis is returning it down the field and fumbles at their 20-yard line. And it's like you're looking at it and you're going, okay, we are on the road in a hostile environment, which I've heard Husky fans all week that are PO'd that their fans sold tickets to our fans. And I want to be like, guys, did you not learn from the Cal game when it was 90% Ohio State fans at Cal? Look, I will say that place does get rocking when they are full bore, whatever you want to call it. They have a great acoustic system in that place. I had multiple friends who went out there and said their fans were crazy loud, but so were our fans. And sometimes even on third downs and stuff like that, we were causing them to have false starts, which happened. I think they had like 6 false starts in the game.
It was far too many for a team that wanted to compete with someone that was way better than them.
Yes. So, I mean, you had Washington go kick that field goal. It's 3-0. Then you kind of have basically 1 first down and a punt. And then you're kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, I don't know what Washington was trying to do on a fake field goal. You have all the momentum on your side. And then you just are like, you know what? Let's not kick the field goal and go up 6-0. Let's do a fake. And immediately, as soon as I said that, as soon as they did that, I said, oh, there goes all their momentum. We're going to go down and score right before half. We're going to get the second half kickoff, and we're going to score a touchdown.
Yep. I should have just turned the game off then. There's no point. If you had told me that between that game and the night game that there would have been a high leverage situation where the game was potentially in the balance, that an idiot coach would have decided to do a fake field goal to nobody. By the way, I don't know if Ohio State was sign stealing or some shit. They had like 8 guys off the line.
Well, here's the thing.
Which is crazy.
They did, which I don't know if they were like, but here's the thing, and I didn't know this, but in the UC Davis game, Washington ran a fake field goal against UC Davis.
Of course they did.
So here is my question that I have I think us on the podcast here 2 years ago, we were big Jed Fish fans.
Yes.
Massive. He went to Washington and he's made like every wrong move possible, I feel like. Like he's running the score up on a UC Davis team and showing his full playbook against them.
Crazy.
When you shouldn't have to. And the only reason I caught it is because the broadcast said that was their second fake field goal of the season. And they scored on the other one.
Of course they did.
So I think we knew that it was coming, but here's the thing. I don't think he was supposed to throw the ball. I think he was supposed to run because the guy
clearly the guy was blocking, yeah.
He was not going out for a pass play. And then
they were in communication. I don't think they knew what play they were running.
No, I don't think they did either. I think they thought that he was going to run. It was just great for us. And then you go down right after halftime, you score. Look, I get that there was a 15-yard penalty on the roughing the passer play. Look, I do not think that should have been a roughing the passer. I totally agree with everybody who said, hey, this is absurd. This is ridiculous. I mean, what were your guys' thoughts on that?
It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the problem I have with it is you have – so it would have been, I believe, 2nd and 20, correct?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the problem that I have with that is there was also a roughing the passer earlier in the game that they just blatantly missed. This once again, and when we get to the Penn State-Oregon game, we need to talk about targeting. But this once again, you've got to be consistent with the rule. Because if you're calling it one way, you got to stay consistent with it. If it's anything that's above the neck area that they're touching him, then call it consistently. I didn't think the Washington player did anything wrong. I was thankful for the call. It was a gift. I mean, overall, did it really change the outcome of the game? I mean, it could have. But once again, Washington also drove down in the red zone twice and got 6 points. They didn't score a touchdown at all. It's kind of on them in a big game, big moments that you need to upset a team. Not going to do that by playing Ohio State. You're not going to – first off, if you get in the red zone twice and you settle for field goals and you are the team that has less talent, you're not going to win most games.
Correct.
Very vanilla, very plain kind of game. Felt like I had people who were watching with me, and they were looking at me sideways going, why are you so calm? And I said, I was nervous at first, and then I saw what Washington was throwing out there. I was nervous that we were like, as soon as they did the fake field goal, they were even like at halftime, you were like 7-3, and you were like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm not that worried. Like, they haven't done anything.
They had like zero threat of scoring. There's nothing to be worried about.
Exactly. They can drive down the field and kick field goals all day. But they're going to, at some point, need to score a touchdown. We're going to continue to score touchdowns. Other than that, I mean, it wasn't the greatest game overall. But the one thing is, it was a lot of safe plays for Sayan, which I just unleash him at some point. Like, you're going to need it in one of these games, and it's probably going to be Illinois. I'm not overly worried about this week. I'm not overly worried about the 18th at Wisconsin, but at Illinois, you're probably going to need him to unleash some stuff. So I will say this. I do like getting the tight ends involved. I do like these jumbo packages because you are setting the rest of the season, late in the season up, showing that, hey, by the way, we have a jumbo package that we can run effectively. We also now have, you can go 4 and 5 wide and run effectively in offense. So I do like that, and saying that, okay, we're going to play Washington today. We don't need to show our 5 wide. We don't need to show our 11 personnel package or our 21 personnel package. We're going to go more of a 13 personnel package. Love that. I absolutely love that you can show, hey, we have a versatile offense that can run many different units out there, and we're still going to move the ball on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's how those urban teams used to be, where it was like, oh, we're not going to go 5 wide tick-tocky. No problem. We'll just run it down your throat and take your soul, which clearly the Ryan Day teams haven't been able to do. That would have been his own teams, and that's obviously gotten him in trouble. So
correct.
Don't love that that's happening, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we can finally run power football somewhat. Once again, though, the fourth and 1 though play, just quarterback sneak it. Seriously, he's 6'4". He's 6 foot. He can get an inch. We have an All-American, or at least an All Big Ten center. So, yeah. Other than that, we can move on to our great game of the week in Happy Valley.
Does anyone want to lead? I'll do it if needed, but I don't know.
No, I just think that it was embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing for the fact that this is now about 5 or 6 straight years of the big game is getting overhyped for the fact that, hey, it's the whiteout. Hey, Penn State's playing Oregon. Hey, Penn State's playing Ohio State.
Okay.
Hey, Penn State's playing this. Hey, Penn State's playing this. And they literally showed up looking like a team that didn't want to be there. They looked like a team that was not prepared. They had the most vanilla game plan. They really didn't want to push down the ball. When they did, it wasn't great. I mean, Drew should have had 3 picks in the first half. There was a tip on a screen. There was another tip on an out route. There was so many issues that were happening. And for some reason, Oregon let them hang around. And they kept letting them hang around. And they kept letting them hang around. And they never really could capitalize on a drive. But you could see that if Oregon just did a little bit more downfield play, they would have been able to make it work. But they just never really seemed to take the risk. And it almost came back to bite them. But at the end of the day, the quarterback that, in my opinion, right now is better, won the game for his team. Simple as that.
So one thing you said was about Penn State just looking very plain vanilla. They didn't trust Drew Lar at all.
Nope.
At all, until they got into crunch time of 17 to 3.
Right.
Until they got into panic mode.
And they got into panic mode. But then, I mean, then you saw it was like, okay, well, Oregon was kind of playing off, which is kind of what they should have been doing because they didn't want to give up a touchdown. And then they ended up giving up a touchdown to tie it up. Like, yep. I don't even know what to say about it because it's like this is your typical Penn State blown loss game, and now you got James Franklin post game talking like, oh well, Ohio State didn't win the conference last year. Ohio State lost 2 games in conference last year. Ohio State didn't win that big game during the regular season, but they came back during the tournament, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, but
you're not Penn State. No, you're Ohio State, dude.
Yeah. I just want to be like, but dude, you've never won the big game. You've never I know Blake loves to use this about the 4-team tournament. Penn State sniffed the 4-team tournament once, but the reason they didn't make it is because they lost to a 6-6 Pitt team earlier in the season, and they lost to Michigan on the road
by 1 billion,
41-7.
Yeah, top 10 team. Interesting. He lost one of those games.
And by the way, you only made it into the Big Ten title game is because there was a 3-way tie. You end up winning the Big Ten, and then you threw a hissy fit because they weren't even the 5th ranked team that year. They were the 6th.
Yep. It's crazy.
Outside of that one season and them winning the Big Ten, they have never threatened the top 4. They now get in the 12 team. They get to a semifinal game, and they didn't play anybody. What big game can we go back and look at outside of Ohio State and winning a Big Ten title for James Franklin to beat Wisconsin? Can you honestly look at and go, that's a quality win? Because when you played Auburn at home and even on the road, I think you beat them both times. Auburn was unranked both years. They don't play anybody in non-conference.
Nope.
USC last year lost 6 games, 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime contract, man. Please sign me up, because I can tell you November 1st, it's going to go one of 2 ways for you. You're going to get up early by 2 to 3 touchdowns on us and somehow find a way to blow it.
They always do.
Or we're going to go down, or we're going to have like something crazy happen where you guys go down the opening drive and throw a pick 6. And then we just roll from there. Like, I'm not even worried that we're going to lose that game. Like, it's going to be a top 10 matchup, and I'm not worried. I'm much more worried we go to Illinois and lose. I'm much more worried we go to Michigan and lose. You know what? I'm just going to say it. I'm actually maybe more worried we lose to Rutgers than you guys this year.
No, I mean, I get it. Like,
because it's all a mindset with him. He just cannot win the big game.
He can't do it. He overthinks it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He has instilled that in his players. That's how that program is run now. Well, we beat everybody, but we don't win the 2 big games a year. We're good with 10-2. At what point do you get sick of 10-2?
That's been my entire question to people that keep telling me he's not on the hot seat. Is I'm like, at some point you have to make a step forward. I won't get into that whole argument again, but
yeah,
I don't know if he'll get fired, but I think that they might let him go somewhere else. That's if I had a crystal ball, he's gonna take a job somewhere else. My biggest thing is this Drew Allen nonsense. Now, I remember for years I had to defend when people were saying Drew Aller is better than J.J. McCarthy. They said it for a while. Penn State would do, you know what? I was about to say something crazy. Penn State would do a lot of bad things to get a guy like J.J. McCarthy back in there. I mean, think about when are the most scary Penn State teams been, right? They slam the rock. They got 1 or 2 crazy skill guys that are running around, and they've got a mobile quarterback. They let a mobile quarterback walk down the street. I don't know, actually not down the street. Missouri's pretty far away from Pennsylvania.
Correct.
But, down to, the SEC, and Bo's playing out of his mind with a great running back. It's funny, Mizzou actually looks like the old Penn State teams, but that's a whole different video. I just don't get the fit between Koldnicki and Aller. It makes no sense to me. Katron Allen, who's pretty clearly your best running back, got 4 touches in the first quarter per our good friend PSU TK's PK Analytics. We've got a lot of good personal friends of the program that are all Penn State people. Most of them have reached apathy. A few of them are yet to get there, like our good friend Corn thought that they were going to win. God bless. I actually thought they were going to win. I thought this was the game that they would break through, because to me, it didn't really count like a big game in a weird way. It was like, okay, West Coast team coming across the country. Oregon's average age is like 14 years old on their team. Every guy out there was freshman. It was like first road start, blah, blah, blah. Dan Lanning's first ever overtime game, which is a crazy stat. Dan Lanning's biggest road win by a country mile. Everything was in Penn State's favor. But they still found a way to lose the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that might be it for me on terms of thinking Penn State has a chance. I normally don't, but this one I thought they had a chance. That being said, they could do the funniest thing ever. They won't, but if they were to somehow beat Ohio State, it'd be the funniest thing ever.
Oh, I wholeheartedly think they're going to make it somewhat of a game. But here's the thing.
Because to me, I don't think he cares about the Oregon game, which sounds dumb.
But
I think he made it very clear. Didn't even Drew Eller actually say he came back to beat Ohio State? Like, not like verbatim, but I'm pretty sure it was
not in so many words. But yes, but
yeah.
Here's the thing I'll say about a Penn State Ohio State game. I know it's a few weeks away, but if you're Penn State and you're up, I don't know, 31-17 going into the fourth quarter. I saw your eye roll there. You know what's coming.
It doesn't even sound good.
You know what's coming. In the back of their heads, they're going, and let's say we have the ball and we're like our own 35-yard line or 40-yard line at that point. You're going in and we score 3 minutes into it, like in the fourth quarter. They are literally standing on that sideline going, oh no, it's happening again. The crowd's getting into it. Oh no, here we go. And then you have Drew Largo out there, and you know what's coming. It's going to be a strip sack, or it's going to be some kind of sack, and they're going to punt the ball back to us. And you're going to get into a tie ball game at 31 with 5 minutes left. And then I mean, every Penn State fan, including their coach, including their players, are going, not again, not again.
Normal Penn State fans are coming out of the woodwork just being like, I'm done. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. The last thing I wanted to add on this game, and we can quickly touch on the other ranked games and then get into the preview, is there's a good tweet by my good friend Anthony Wright. The last 3 offensive plays in Penn State's last 3 losses, which were all to big games, it was to Oregon, and who else did they lose to? Notre Dame, has been a Drew Aller interception. That's tough. Now, I'll just quickly run down the scores from other games. Ole Miss beat LSU. Shout out Trinidad. Tennessee outlast Mississippi State in overtime. That's fun. Alabama beats Georgia again. Georgia has a bigger Georgia might have the same problem that our good friend Ryan Day has. Jackson Arnold experience is basically what they subject to you instead of waterboarding now on Guantanamo Bay. They lost to Texas A&M 16-10. Wake Forest got absolutely abused by the officials and lost in overtime at home to Georgia Tech, but they went for 2 they went for 2 in overtime, which I love. God bless them. Notre Dame got our good friend Sam Tittman fired. BYU no longer BYU. Ended up beating Colorado. God bless.
I want to touch on Notre Dame, Arkansas, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to say, Marcus Freeman seriously running a fake punt up 42-13. Come on, man.
Fake demons. These guys think that they're sick and they're not. But yeah, and then number 25 ranked quarterback in the country, Bo Pabula. In the fighting, not Penn State Nittany Lions, ended up getting the win. Good for them. They beat UMass by 1,000. And then Vanderbilt continued to their thing. They get up 35 to Utah State, where they're promptly going to get embarrassed by 4 scores against Alabama this week.
Ooh.
Friday night, Virginia upset Florida State. And what was the first half of maybe the greatest Friday night we've ever seen for the limited thing. Craziest field scoring of all time, and then Arizona State with an all-time comeback against TCU to win in regulation from down 10.
I will say this: Florida State, their player is alive. By the way, he did not get trampled by.
Yes, Squirrel White, RIP.
Oh, man, that was a little scary, kind of.
Yeah, I had a very long Friday night. Don't remember almost any of it, but I remember saying to my buddies beforehand, I was like, the coolest thing about Virginia is if they ever had a good football program, they could have the funniest field storming ever because they stand on the hill. So I was like, what are you talking about? Someone pointed out to me 2 days ago. Would have been a great thing for me to tweet out, but thankfully I didn't have my phone that night. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know.
That is week 5 and on to week 6.
Yes. Week 6 Big Ten slate. Let me quickly switch the filter on my devices here.
Yeah, we got a big noon kickoff. So go ahead, Blake. Let's go with your big noon kickoff in the big house.
Big noon kickoff. Michigan is bringing out all the stops for this weekend. It is one of the craziest recruiting weekends we've had in a long time. Future Wolverine and current Harper Woods High School enrollee Dakota Garant will be on campus along with other guys. Charles Woodson Jr. will be on campus, which is pretty cool. He's all but committed to Michigan per all the websites. Big Noon, Dave Portnoy, all of them will be on there. Everyone in the world is buying their ticket to the world's biggest concert last week. They should all stay for the Bryce Underwood Show World Tour the week after. I have been personally... What's up?
Hopefully no thunderstorms.
Yeah, I've been personally leading the charge to get fireworks at the big house. I've been in contact with two Michigan regions, one in the DMs, one on the timeline, about somehow making this happen. Or I will get them. I'll make sure I stuff as many ballots as it takes to get them out of their position for someone that will get me fireworks for my football games. Thank you. Michigan's going to buy 1,000. We're going to get Luke Fickell fired. This happens a lot. I feel like Michigan gets almost everybody that they play and beat hard fired. Literally the list goes on and on. It happens in a lot of sports as well. Most recent I can think of was what's his name? The OC at Penn State, where they still haven't fixed that position yet, but that's a whole different issue. But Michigan by 1,000. People keep talking about how Wisconsin's got this really good run defense. They do analytically. It's because they give up 1 billion yards passing. I'm not falling for that nonsense. So interesting. A really good, in theory, run defense versus a unbelievably bad passing defense. Hopefully we air it out, and hopefully it's not my quarterback, my coach with his Hulk hands screaming smash and headbutting a wall. We'll find out. It doesn't matter. I think I could be starting with Zach and Stowe here. Oh, Zach and Stowe, Zach and Cozy as receivers, and I think Michigan would win by 50. So I'm considering making my lock of the week, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, that line is 16.5.
Makes no sense. Opened it like 13, which is even funnier.
I just don't think Wisconsin's good at all.
Billy Edwards is dead. I don't think he's playing this game.
No, he's not. Their 2 wins are over Miami of Ohio and Middle Tennessee State.
They were fighting in both games.
Yes, Miami of Ohio actually put up a really good fight against them. Alabama, they got crushed by Alabama, and then they played Maryland.
Quickly with Miami of Ohio, they had one of the craziest games of all time against UNLV 2 weeks ago. We missed, but that game was awesome. That's all I have to say.
They did, yes. I just don't think this game's close. I think Michigan could sleepwalk their way. Michigan could also run the ball very well against them, just because I think that the stats are inflated for Wisconsin because they haven't played anybody who runs the ball that much, / their pass defense is terrible, like Blake said. Easy W. If this game is easy W for Michigan, if this game is anywhere near close, Michigan fans might want to look at
next week.
Michigan fans might want to look at Sharon.
Actually, you know what? Follow me on Twitter. I will probably be having a Twitter space. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Other than that,
Illinois, Purdue. Down. Gross.
Look, Purdue is still Purdue. I don't think that they've necessarily changed that much. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, hey,
they've got some fun plays. They've had a few fun plays, but yeah,
they have. I mean, here's the thing:
every week they got an all-time play. No.
Oh man, that fake against Notre Dame
last year.
The fake against Notre Dame was awesome. The play against USC was awesome.
Notre Dame, that pitch was unreal. Oh my god.
Yeah. Look, that's fun and everything, but it's got to be Illinois, right?
But I'm saying, do you remember this game last year?
Yeah, it came down to the wire, right? Was it 43,
I think it was 50-49 in double overtime.
That was it. Yep. Yeah.
All-time game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's whatever.
They play for actually a pretty cool trophy. They play for a cannon, which is yes,
pretty sweet.
Like an actual cannon. Yes. It's a pretty cool trophy game.
Okay, then we have a dead dog game that no one cares about. UL Monroe Northwestern. That's a game. Okay.
That's a game?
We touched on it. Penn State UCLA.
That's another game.
This is my lock of the week. Penn State minus 26.5.
It's 26.5 right now.
This is a James Franklin special.
It's weird that it's not 28.5. I'd feel more comfortable if it was. I do think they'll fight. I almost took the over, but no, James Franklin's going to murder this team. They're going to be so mad. Let's go 1-0 this week. It's not about a few big games. I don't have the exact tweet. I'm going to find it. I have to do it. I'm going to find the exact tweet from James Franklin. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I actually think that Penn State covers the over by themselves and then covers the line as well. But I'm not going to take your lock of the week because I have another lock of the week.
Game week. Let's do this together, Nittany Nation. We need everyone, students, faculty, lettermen, alumni, and fans worldwide, locked in on being 1-0 against UCLA Saturday. #we are.
If you want to see
the most horrific insults you've ever seen in your entire life, please go to his Twitter and look at those comments. They are obscene. They've got a lot of photoshops of him as bad people in bad places. It's very funny. Shout out James.
As far as the other 3:30 game goes, you got Washington traveling across country to Maryland.
This game rules.
Okay, now I want to ask this question. It is a cross-country trip from a West Coast team to an East Coast team, and the West Coast team is favored in this game. Do you trust them enough? And does the Cinderella September magic for Maryland wear off like it does always?
I think teasing Maryland and the over is the easiest way to double your net worth since bad mortgages. I would do it as a lock of the week as well, but I can't give it a teaser as a lock of the week. But I think they can win this game outright. I think that this total might hit in the first half.
I think Maryland is going to win this game outright.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, they got a better quarterback.
I think that Washington – here's the other thing. I think Washington also threw a lot of eggs in one basket to beat Ohio State last week, and it didn't even come close to going their way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can say what you want. Like I said, I wasn't going to win this time. What'd you say?
What I mean? Like, talk about an all-time bad spot. You sell all your tickets. You get embarrassed at home in what could have been the biggest game in your life. Really dumb spread. It came back. And you're flying across the country 3 time zones to play fucking Maryland. Thank God this isn't a noon game. Otherwise, this spread might be like 4. But, I don't know. We got Evil Knievel's over here just trying to hang out. So, what's up, Zach?
Go ahead.
Lock of the week.
Oh.
Washington minus 6.5.
Oh, man.
Next spot. Boop. Maryland sucks after September. Boop. We're just hitting all the buttons. I mean, we're at that point where they don't really have like a full fan base. I don't think I've seen a Maryland game where it's sold out in a long time.
Oh,
it's 3:30. The time change isn't really going to affect them. It will still be a 12:30. It's a normal time. And Washington is in a great bounce back spot. And I love this. I love that you guys are boosting up Maryland for this because we see it every year and everybody falls for it. And Gary called it 2 weeks ago. Washington minus 6.5. Lock of boom.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully for Zach's sake, it's not like when USC did the exact same thing, losing to Penn State, bounce back spot. They lost to Billy Edwards. Hopefully that doesn't happen for Zach's sake. But the next 2 games are you guys. So chronologically, it's
4 o'clock.
It's Jackson Mahomes against Zach's Spartans on the Fox Sports 1. This might be a Devin Gardner. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know what to expect. I think if our offense plays the way it's been all year, we have a chance. Nebraska is a very wild card team to me. I don't know what to think of them because they'll play Michigan tough for most of the game, but also at moments they looked like they didn't know what the hell was going on. So I think that this is a weird Nebraska team, and they're getting so much media hype still. But I don't know what to expect because if I'm not mistaken, they had a bye week last week too.
Yes.
So it's a weird spot to me that like I don't know what to expect. Like, okay, they might correct their mistakes against Michigan, maybe, but also at the same time, like I don't know really know I don't know how to put it. They don't have an identity to me. Michigan has an identity.
Oh, they have an identity. It's just not their own. Their identity is cosplaying a different team.
Yeah, okay. I just don't know if they're kind of effective at running the ball, kind of effective at passing the ball. I don't know if they know what they're good at this point. And it's kind of confusing because they did some things against Michigan now. It's just like scratching my head, like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Because it's not working. And then they gave it up, and then they tried to like run the ball, and it was weird. Like they can score points. That's not a question, but will they be able to expose even more what we've done wrong, or will we have it corrected coming off a bye? We'll see.
I don't know what to think about this game, to be honest with you, because I don't know if Nebraska's any good.
I think this is a lot of points for two teams we don't know a lot about.
Yeah, because like I could see this being like a Cincinnati Nebraska style type game, and then I could also see it being like a USC Michigan State.
That's exactly where I'm at, Cozy.
Like I'm so undecided on which way this is going to go because Nebraska, I don't know that I'm impressed with anything that Nebraska does, and I'm maybe mildly impressed with Michigan State that they can throw the ball a little bit, but also I think Nebraska's pass defense is pretty decent from what the few games that I've watched them.
Nebraska's pass defense was very good, similar to the Wisconsin thing, where if you think about who they played, right, Akron and Houston Christian, and then Cincinnati decided to turn into a service academy against them. So, I mean, if it wasn't for some of the worst drops you've ever seen in your entire life, I think Michigan would have had some good stuff on them. And we have, again, this podcast at receiver. You know, Michigan State's got, you know, two borderline NFL guys and one bona fide, probably first-round pick dude. Yeah, I think there's a huge advantage for Michigan State passing the ball against that secondary. If Childs can not get put into the dirt within a second of throwing the ball, he should be fine. Yeah. That's obviously a very tall task with this offensive line of Michigan State, where, again, we're doubling as people on that offensive line. I just am worried that the only reason I'm not going to easily say over is the easiest thing ever taken in your life is Nebraska does have that tendency to want to just kind of take those long drives. Like they had a couple long drives where they didn't score. And I think Emmett Johnson, anytime touchdown and is over, is a great play. I think he'll score and potentially go crazy, but I could see this being a track meet, and I think that's kind of the games Michigan State wants to find themselves in. So I think, you know, giving me essentially a 2-score spread, well, you know, obviously a 2-score spread, but a big spread like this in a game where I think it's going to come to the wire. Yeah. I would say personally, if I had to take the one thing I'd take other than that player prop would be the first half Michigan State spread, whatever it is. I'm guessing it'd be like 5.5, because I think the way that Rule was talking is it sounded a little Ryan Day-esque, where he was like, he literally said, other than like the 3 or 4 big runs we were really in that game, I'm like, okay, we can't do that. He was talking about how they need to be a tougher physical football team, you know, which again sounds like Ryan Day, no offense. So I think they're going to try to start selling off, you know, beating the run, blah, 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 blah. They're going to be playing, you know, to stop the run and all that stuff. And I think that they might air it out on them. So I like the first half a lot out of Sparty, and I could see him being live. Sparty, I think, is just built to upset somebody big. I know this isn't somebody that big, but I just hope for my good friend Zach that he's not seeing, you know, Timu Mahomes or farming on his corpse. That would suck.
Yeah. And I think this is like a team, realistically, that's not like that elite level to where there's still a fighting chance. It's not us playing Penn State, which is like a very slim chance unless they kind of play really poorly on offense, which we've seen at moments, but like they also are elite on defense. So it's like this is like the level of team that I would expect to be fighting chance, which I could absolutely see. I mean, if our defense plays 10%, 15% better, we have a whole different conversation. So, all right, Cozy.
I completely forgot we even had a game because.
What do you mean? Waiting all day for Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night on NBC. Exciting. Congratulations. Thank you again for Big Noon not picking us. Oh, wait, this game is not a big time game. Thanks again. I mean, the line is 23, 24, 23 and a half, 24 and a half, wherever you look, it's kind of varies. I'm just going to say this. Look, Minnesota. I've watched Minnesota on their late games or after we're done with them. Drake Lindsay, etc. He's not, for a freshman, he is not a bad quarterback, but he is a freshman coming into a 100,000-seat stadium. It's going to be, I believe, his first time in a big time atmosphere environment. No, Cal does not count as a big time environment. That just does not count. I still don't know how Arkansas allowed a homegrown boy to go all the way to Minnesota. Very weird of them to not get him in recruiting, but maybe that's why Samuel Pittman is fired. Look, you can talk about Minnesota all you want on offense, on whatever you want. They're going to probably put up some points. I mean, I would think they're going to put up some points, but I think that their defense gives up a lot of points. Considering, I don't know how good Cal is, especially after their little trip to San Diego State.
Oh my God. And then they got very lucky up in Boston.
Yes. Very lucky up in Boston.
I'll make it simple for you. Okay? Don't overthink it. Take Minnesota team total 10.5 under. Ohio State has
Taylor, no problem.
Under, like it's simple, okay? No team has scored 10 points on Ohio State yet. They've played Washington on the road, which is unbelievable. They played Texas.
I don't like when he does this. I hate when he does this.
They don't play Ohio. Not COA.
I hate when he does this because he's done this multiple times for Ohio State teams, and we went on to lose.
Well, he did it. No. He did it against Michigan team total under. Michigan team total under did hit.
Yes, thank you. I'm not.
Sorry, Zach Sharp, Cozy.
You just look at the logic of the fact that they have not given up 10 points. The defense is elite in the red zone, and there's nothing that shows me that Minnesota, of all teams, without Darius Taylor, if he doesn't play, is going to score 10 points.
I think we cover, and I think we hit the over as a team. I think that we score. I think we score around like 42 points.
I think it's going to be 42-9. They're going to kick 3 field goals.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I think it's going to be around that kind of score. So yeah, if you're in the betting world, take the over, take the Buckeyes to cover. Yeah, I don't really got that much. I'm not. I know right now I'm saying I'm not worried, but at probably around 6:30 on Saturday, I'm going to be like sweating bullets, freaking out, thinking, okay, Minnesota could pull off a big upset, or there's going to be like a few upsets during the day, and then everyone's going to be like, oh, maybe this is upset Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, I've seen Minnesota take down a top 10 team in the Horseshoe before. So, granted, it was with three coaches ago. So, yeah.
So what are those upsets you speak of? Do you have any in mind you want to touch on while we start the rest of the week?
Yes,
quickly?
I do, and it is my lock of the week. It is not necessarily a ranked upset, but it is my lock of the week, and it is Iowa State Cyclones money line over the Ohio, or should I say Cincinnati of Ohio Bearcats. Wow, Bobcats, man. Bearcats. Yeah, Iowa State is getting overlooked. I have no idea how this line is 1.5. I have no idea how this line opened up at 2.5 favorites for Cincinnati. Does no one watch Big 12 football in Vegas? Does Iowa State? Did they not watch Iowa State play at all?
I think there might be the new TCU from a couple years ago where they're just like within a 3-point spread of every game and just suddenly win them all because they're voodoo people. Also, do your analytics factor in the fact that Jake will be in attendance?
Yes, it does. Very much so, because usually he loses. He's been at a lot of Bengals games. No, I mean, they're just crushing people. They just crushed Arizona, and we thought Arizona was like somewhat a compatible team. They went on the road to Arkansas State, which I don't know why they went on the road to Arkansas State. I have no idea why teams are
bailed out in that game too.
But I mean, Arkansas State's not great. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they still went on the road, performed pretty well. They took care of business. They're just taking care of business right now. I've been to Nippert Stadium before. It's not an intimidating factor. I'm not really worried. And they got the advantage.
You're all the way down to Kentucky for a game?
Yes, I have, yes. Other than that, other top 25 matchups that we have this week, we do have 2 top 20 matchups. And Blake's already said that one's going to be a blowout, which I disagree with, but we can talk about it.
I think the world's going to be on them. I mean, this happens every time with undefeated Vandy playing an Alabama team. I mean, I think the best thing for Vandy is that Alabama beat Georgia, clearly.
Correct. Yes.
But like Diego Pavia is now shooting videos of his mom being like, yeah, come on to the game. Come on down to Tuscaloosa, Theo Vaughn. Like, dog, you're playing Bama. Like, lock in. Stop worrying about trying to pimp your mother out for some clout.
Yeah, I mean, you got that game at 3:30. You also have a very interesting game in Texas at Florida. I'm not sure how I feel about Texas at all. And I don't think anyone does. They are 3-1.
That might be the play of the public play of the century.
They're all, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the stat. Let me get it for you. Keep going.
I don't know how I feel about that. There's another game at 3:30 where you have a Boise State team who is looking to possibly pull themselves back into the playoff conversation. I think unless you get a Memphis loss, they are pretty much not going to get back in the playoff conversation. But they do play at Notre Dame.
Who's Memphis going to lose to?
We're not
the team that beat them.
I don't believe they play until the conference title game.
I have my upset.
I'm pretty sure they play in November.
Whenever we're ready,
and then, I mean, you got the SEC game. Let me tell you, Oklahoma playing Kent. I'm so excited for that game. Kent State, man, great scheduling there. Excellent. I'll give Oklahoma credit. They at least scheduled Michigan this year, and they got Michigan next year, so I will give them credit. But you know, there is a game that is very intriguing that a lot of people aren't talking about. It's also at 3:30, and that is Virginia and Louisville. That is going to be an excellent football game. Ranked Virginia at Louisville is a 6.5 point underdog.
You gotta start putting respect on my Louisville Cardinals.
No one believes in them.
I know.
I mean, voters don't. But here's the thing. Once again, it's the AP poll, and we've seen a lot of weird stuff out of the AP poll this year. Louisville is just finding ways to win games at this point. I mean, James Madison, a lot of people thought James Madison was going to be able to keep up with them. It was close for a while. And let's just say this, Louisville ball boy, very well done this week. He basically got, I don't even know what you want to call it, but he got manhandled by 2 Pitt football players that wanted to keep the football themselves.
One Pitt guy flopped too, which is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And the ball boy is totally right because the Pitt guy ended up throwing the ball into the stands.
Yes, I know.
I have my upset of the week whenever we're ready.
Okay. Go right ahead. Upset of the week. No.
Wow, Guardians money line. That's a very bold pick, Zach.
Nope. the Florida State Seminoles are going to upset the Miami Hurricanes at home. That place is going to be rocking. Florida State is going to give them everything they got, and I think Miami is going to make too many mistakes throughout the game.
I will say this. This is going to be a game in college football where the crowd plays an impact because this is such a rivalry game. It's at night. The Florida State students are going to finally be hyped about their football team. And I think one of the coolest environments is Florida State when they all get rocking because it is so incredibly loud. The other thing is Miami doesn't bring any visiting fans. They have never brought visiting fans to Florida State. It is literally 95% Florida State fans in that place. It will continue to be that way this year. I can't disagree. And if we're really going to go back to it, when has Carson Beck ever played really well in an environment that is uncomfortable for him?
That's a very good point.
Notre Dame, but that's not really that crazy right now. They were home.
Yeah.
That was that many Notre Dame. There were a lot of Notre Dame fans. So I'll give you that credit, Zach. But the last thing I wanted to touch on, the stat I pulled up because I saw Josh Pate tweet about it. Texas versus Florida is the 103rd versus the 123rd third down offenses.
Oh, boy.
So if that's not an understat, I don't know what is. But,
and what's Iowa ranked?
No idea. They had a couple, though, against Virginia Tech. Or not Virginia Tech versus, was it Rutgers? Who knows? But that is, I think, what we got for the week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if my face is lighting up. My phone's being blown up because the Yankees just completely collapsed in the top of the seventh inning. So, but yeah, that is all we got for this week. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen, or are we all good here?
Nope.
Yeah, should be a good week of football. Scooble's still the best pitcher in baseball. Yeah, let's finish it out tomorrow.
Better hope you win the next two games.
Like this comes out on Wednesdays, so you could look like an idiot right now.
If we lose, then we lose, and then I look like an idiot. But
and I believe you guys did this last time, and it was Game 4 when we were recording.
It was. I will say the only thing that I've said it before the series started. The funniest thing that would ever happen, the only thing that would be good of us collapsing is seeing Cozy go back at it with Washington fans for a week. That would be funny.
That would be funny because they ran their mouths like no other.
They ran their mouths and then
they went silent.
Cozy tried to pull back up on them, and they were nowhere to be found.
They said,
"Oh, and not just that. He also the one Washington fan left our group chat, and then soft blocked me.
Even better. All right. Well, that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah. Peace.
Go Bucks.
God, see, it takes you longer and longer.